7,445 pounds, the Liberty Edition Freedom Express 310 bunkhouse deep slide, double slide here at Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Asdel ultralight, extra tall interior with an extra long 80-inch residential length bed. The push button power stabilizer system, all actuated from that front tongue jack, and a newly updated, at the time of this filming anyway, LCI stable step entry system right here, giving that a little more stability as you come and go, so the camper rocks and rolls less as, you know, the kids and mom and dad and everybody else hop in and out. You are going to want to plan your packing accordingly on this one with the slide closed as we see it currently. We can get to the fridge, we can get to the pantry, but that's about where it stops. When that slide's closed up, it's going to be just a little bit tight. Now, you might be able to push one of the little kiddos back there to get back to their cabinets, but you're not going to be able to get to the bathroom or the bunkhouse or that side of the dinette storage unless you lift up the cushions, obviously, which I guess that's not terribly out of the question. But as soon as you open her up, the taller interior of the Freedom Express travel trailers makes itself felt virtually immediately. And they're a really uncommon set of qualities, and that it's a lighter weight trailer, but it's a bigger trailer. And that's a weird thing, because usually manufacturers are building things with weight sensitivity. They'll build shorter walls. They might vault the roof to give you the feel of a bigger camper. You might get some of the benefit, but Freedom Express, instead of a 6.5-foot wall with a ceiling vault, they do a linear interior ceiling with a 6'9" wall, a 3-inch taller wall. What that's giving us is a taller slide out, bigger cabinets, bigger shower, bigger bunk space, and just a generally larger feel overall. The other thing, you know, I say all the time how different brands do different things well, and I've always felt that one of the things that Coachmen does better than basically anybody is storage. Now, we'll get to this in a second, but what's kind of cool, and I talk about it all the time, but I don't demonstrate it enough, is that the table is fully free-floating with that elliptical base. If you want to fold it down and use it like a coffee table, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. It's really cool if you've got the kids kind of busy doing something, if you're playing board games or something like that. You know, you can take it outside and have a double picnic table with the one that's already included in the pass-through. But in the Liberty Edition, we're going to pick up these full extension drawers down here, and that makes it easy to get to all the storage below the end seating. However, that's where most U-dinettes are going to stop. If a manufacturer gives you access to the end benches, they rarely take the time to do what Freedom Express does here on every single U-dinette, and that does include those sliding little pocket doors right there. It doesn't probably cost them much of anything more, if anything more. But it is so super functional, especially in conjunction with that free-floating dining table. You can move the table out of the way, and you can get to all the storage under the benches without having to remove all the cushions and whatnot. Now, we've got a good, dedicated linen cabinet right here, or additional closet, whatever you kind of want it to be. It's set up more like a closet now for the kids in the bunkhouse, but it would be very easy to throw a little shelf organizer, pile some towels into that. Over here in the, as long as we're talking about storage, let's go ahead and just knock out the rest of the kitchen. Next to the 8 cubic foot refrigerator freezer, the Liberty Editions get the bigger fridge standard, you have this huge pantry, you know, and, pardon me, tell me when more storage is ever the wrong answer, and I'll probably argue with you because I don't believe that it ever will be. Now, a taller ceiling is also going to allow for taller overhead cabinets. So you're getting 3 inches of extra cabinet space there, which would be enough if you wanted to throw a little shelf organizer in that. You could also double up on that. Now, one thing that's easy to miss here in the kitchen is the amount of countertop prep space that you have. At a glance, you know, we tend to look at things very two-dimensionally. So you're saying, you know, if you look at it just like this, you look at it and say, yeah, well, there's the sink, there's the stove. I mean, that's a normal kitchen space. But you got to look at it in all 3 dimensions, because if you do, you realize how much extra space is behind that stovetop. The Freedom Express countertop is extended out probably close to 9 or 10 inches further, all the way across. So you're getting a lot of additional countertop space right here that most RVs with this floor plan simply can't match. Now, in the Liberties, you're going to get upgraded sink hardware, very residential in nature with the pull-out style like bendy hose sort of sprayer end. We've got solid surface countertops in the Liberty Edition, and we still have a stone cast sink below. And what that means, guys, this sink is rated for up to 500 degrees before it experiences any kind of failure. So you can literally pour the hottest boiling water in it without it damaging anything. And it's the big one basin farm sink. Now down here is what I like to call the utensil drawer. And I love it because it wraps around the sink. It's the best use of space around an RV sink I have ever seen, with a little removable insert here. If you want to pop that out, no sweat. They also did extend the countertop horizontally a little bit, which is where you're getting this extra drawer here for. See, what's kind of cool is this extra kitchen space is actually a result of a longer super slide. Because if you notice, they have both the trifold sleeper sofa and a big 84-inch U-dinette. That means that this has a longer slide out. Well, the other side of the RV naturally has to get longer to match that. So that's why we're able to have the extra drawer and counter here and a pantry beside the fridge instead of or. And I think when it comes to storage, more people like and better than or. And hey, why not? Let's just go ahead and open everything up and finish off all the kitchen storage space. Now, as deep as that counter is, that's also how deep that storage is. So the stuff that you're not going to use every day, you're probably going to want to pile that more toward the back, because you don't want everyday use stuff, you know, where you have to kind of crawl in there and get it. But the fact is, it's there, and it's not wasted space. From there, I want to point out a couple things that you can't see that may or may not be present. They're optional pieces of equipment. And first of all, that will be a larger air conditioner. An RV of this size, typically we will outfit here at Haylett RV with a 15,000 BTU air instead of a single 13.5. I don't believe a 13.5 is enough to keep up with this much cubic foot of cabin space. Now, normally it would be lighter and brighter in here, but I think my battery box is starting to give up the ghost. I've had a lot of RVs come in and done a lot of videos today, so she's starting to wane a bit, kind of like a moon on the decline. Anyway, back to the point at hand. More cooling power is usually going to be found on one of these, but that's why we actually like to list out every single option that's present on each individual camper on our home website. So remember that this video may not 100% represent the exact camper we have in stock. Another thing that you can't see in relation to heating and cooling is the sort of heat reflective, you know, efficiency package we have started putting on our Liberty Edition Freedom Expresses. So basically what it has is a heat reflective layering that starts at the rear wall, wraps up the rear wall, across the entirety of the roof and down the nose. And basically, guys, in the summertime, it helps keep the sun out. And in the wintertime, it helps keep the furnace heat inside of the RV. Now, they haven't actually, like, 0 degree tested these campers, so I can't tell you in good conscience that they have you know, that sort of capacity. But they are going to be more comfortable spring, summer, fall campers for sure that will let you extend into this fall and spring seasons a little further. So we've got both a power ceiling vent fan in here and a skylight above the shower for headroom. Deadbolt protected entry door in here, by the way, so you don't have to worry about somebody, you know, walking in on you when you're in the bathroom. You see the hanging towel rack. We have a porcelain foot flush stool here, and I like how it's angled to give you a little bit more leg room. Just like, well, in the kitchen, rather, we saw the solid surface countertops as part of the Liberty Edition. Everywhere else in the RV, though, you're going to get these sealed edge countertops, and it seems like everybody and their brother is using them nowadays. But Coachmen and Freedom Express have been using them for a very long time. Now, one of the reasons I've always been kind of sweet on the Freedom Expresses, since they went taller, they didn't used to be extra tall inside, is right here. This. I can stand in this thing. I'm 6'2", 3, depends on the shoes and the boots and the hat and everything else, and boots and pants and boots and pants, and you get the idea. But the fact is, I can stand in this thing without my head in the bubble. Now, this is one of those areas where the 6.5-foot wall campers with a vaulted ceiling might be tall person friendly. But when you have a 6'9" wall, it is always tall person friendly. And I think that's a key difference there that Freedom Express is really just absolutely nailing. So, private rear bunkhouse. Private. With a sliding door. And I like to call it Mom and Dad's sanity room. Because you can get them kids all jacked up on Mountain Dew and marshmallows, and they can just... and they can get themselves back here all day long. And you can just kind of shut the door and put on some noise canceling headphones and just, you know, mom and dad get some relaxation time. Now I've got it in half sleeper mode right now. They've changed up their little cube futon things right here, and I like what they did. They're a lot easier to get flipped open nowadays because they're a trifold section as opposed to a bifold. So they just kind of fold in and out much easier. So you can easily sleep 2 kids or 2 adults down here. That's what's cool, is this becomes a huge lower bed. Very reminiscent of those old classic trundle beds, just really a more modernized version of it, with a flip-down bunk above. And thanks to a handy gas strut, flipping that up during the day is something the kids can do by themselves. You don't really need to have to help them, like lift and snap and latch and twist and lock it and pop it and everything else. Now these things down here can kind of become anything you want. I've got them just set up as like a bench. If you want to flip the back up and make it more like a sofa, you can. More like a lounge, you know. Obviously, you've seen it open up for sleeping. Now, in the meantime, in the time that it took that little wavy line to flip across the screen, I also swapped out my battery box. So we're getting power and light in here the way that it's intended to be seen. It is much brighter because they use a very good lighting package in these Freedom Expresses. Now, this is something I think is easily overlooked, but really smart. Most of your windows have this nice treatment on them, and in the Liberty Editions, you're going to see the nicer blackout roller shades. However, in that flip-up overhead bunk we just looked at, as well as up here, you notice there is no window treatment on them. That's so that the kids don't tend to flop around and smack them and break them. It's just one less thing to stick out further. Now, the rear wall, we are all set if you want to add a TV and some entertainment for the kiddos. Over here, we've got dual USB plugs, and your overhead bunks in the Freedom Express, these are 300-pound rated, by the way, and this is a deeper, wider, what I call big kid bunk. A lot easier for a kiddo to go crosswise. Now, below that, because they gave you the big kid bunk, they had to give you some cabinet space below it. And if we look up top in here, you're going to see a big, long hanging rack. This thing has an incredible amount of hanging capacity for the kids. You've got that lower shelf with a like little kid's shoe garage below, and something the kids love. Every time we have a child in a Freedom Express here on the facility, they go nuts for this. I call it the Kitty Climber Rock Wall. They just love that thing. It's just, you know, it's fun. Camping's supposed to be fun, right? Well, this one right here is certainly fun. So we've talked about the taller living room. We've talked about the kitchen already. I'm just doing a mental checklist to make sure I haven't missed anything. I think we are pretty good there. And kind of like we have a, you know, private rear bedroom, that's not the only privacy the Freedom Express 310 has to offer. So you'll see that we do have sliding privacy doors for the front bedroom. Also, obviously, that TV does spin around for, you know, living room or bedroom combo viewing. And this is why those bedroom doors are so nice. Not just for mom and dad, but the fact that in addition to the bunks, you've got this like 7-foot, basically, sleeper dinette. Maybe sleep 1 adult easy, maybe 2 if you know each other pretty darn well. And then you've got your, you know, trifold sleeper sofa up here that could also sleep a couple adults if need be. But this gives you so many separate sleeping spaces that if the kids bring friends or you bring extended family or something, you've always got a place to put everyone down at night. Now, below the spinning TV center, on the left, we've got a Bluetooth DVD stereo, pretty common fare. Inside the central pocket, though, we've got a cool little device charging station, extra USB plugs, and an open household outlet. If you want to put a whole line of chargers in there off like a power strip or something, you can, since those are very low voltage items. Electric space heating remote controlled, quote, fireplace. Below that, you can turn on for just LED visuals, or you can actually, you know, activate it for electric heat mode so you're not burning up your propane. Now, speaking of heating, you notice there are not heat vents in the floor of a Freedom Express. They go with cabinet ducted heating just to make, you know, keeping the camper clean a little bit simpler and easier, which is one of the reasons I love that clutter-cutting shoe garage right there, right by the entry door, so that everyone's got a place to keep their shoes instead of bulked up by the door and tripping you as you know, come in and out. Now, I mentioned it outside, but to come back to it, not only is this a taller interior ceiling, but it's a longer bed. This is a 60 by 80 residential sized queen. And in the Liberty Edition, inset into the newer, at the time of this filming anyway, shiplap front accent wall right here, you've got a cool little headboard. But what's neat, if I get up here and get a little bit closer, you see that it's actually got USB charging plugs up inside of it, and this cool little LED reading nightlight. Now, that thing in the daytime even, it's putting out quite a bit of light because it's not a single element. It's a multi-element light. And there's an additional reading lamp above the the driver's side headboard area as well. I don't have activated currently. But what's neat, guys, is if it's early morning, if it's late at night, it's just the right amount of light to be able to see in here without disturbing your partner, without blinding anybody. Now, you're going to have outlets on both sides of your bed. Again, you've got USB outlets up in the headboard area of this one, so you're all set there. And then for extra light and airflow, you've got a overhead vent here above the master bedroom just to really maximize every opportunity available in the Freedom Express 310 at Haylett RV. Now, you've seen a couple of visual element updates on the interior compared to the previous generation, like the shiplap in the bedroom, the bunk room, little cube futon things changed up. Outside, the only significant obvious shift is right here, and that is the Liberty Editions now include the fold-down Lippert LCI solid step system here with the adjustable foot pegs. These things, they're just nice because when you come and go, you know, the camper doesn't rock and roll around. The adjustable foot pegs do all the heavy lifting for you. They're aluminum, so they're not slippery when wet. And the extra large top platform here is something a lot of people like. If for no other reason than when you're getting in and out of the camper, it's just a bigger step for more stability. But a lot of people will actually kind of use that as sort of an extra seat outside. It's sort of like a built-in chair with a big old bottom on the thing. Now, really, the first thing I should talk about outside of any Freedom Express is Asdel. Because it's a big secret in their sauce, really. It's one of the things that makes the goulash work on these guys. And it's the layer directly below the fiberglass skin. And it is lighter weight, the material can't rot, mold, or mildew. It has a whole bunch of other tertiary benefits to it. But it's one of the key factors, along with the heavy use of aluminum framing and lamination in the Freedom Expresses, that allows them to be big, full-size, maybe even oversized RVs that are not extra heavy. Now, here in this pass-through, a couple things I want to point out. You see that it does include its own picnic table. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white. Michael Jackson doesn't care. He says that it doesn't matter if it's black or white, so I'm not going to argue with the King of Pop. Or his hologram, as it were, in today's world. But one of the things I rarely do a good job of showing you is the full LED lighting in that front pass-through. So if we take a look, light that sucker up, you see that there's easy reach switches in both the front pass-through as well as these side nose accent lights right here. And they're all kind of pointed inward, so that if you are trying to hitch or unhitch in the morning or at night, it is easy to see. Now, Liberty Edition, we are going to update from just the magnet catches that all Freedom Expresses will have to also the nicer metallic slam compression latches right here. So you're getting a little bit better hardware in that regard as well. Full Freedom Express, or Liberty Edition rather, updates to a full nose cap as opposed to a 3/4 cap found on a Freedom Ultralight, which is the non-Liberty upgrade version. The Liberty Edition also includes like a full power, like easy access automatic stabilization system here. That the whole controlling module is actually located right where you'd expect your power tongue jack to be, which is kind of neat. So you can pick which jacks you want to operate. You can operate them all right here. You never have to take a knee. You never have to bend down. You never have to stress your back. It does all the heavy lifting for you. Different thing that Freedom Express and its little brother, sister, whatever you want to call it, cousin, Apex do, is they tongue mount their spare tires. That's a very, very uncommon feature in travel trailers. I'm not going to say they're the only ones that do it. I'm not consciously aware of anyone else that does. And the reason they do it is kind of twofold. One, for load equalization. It keeps the... man, there is a sweat bee that just will not leave me alone. Go away, bee. I don't feel like getting bit today. I'm not allergic or anything, but it just hurts. Anyway... what was I getting at? The tongue jack, or tongue-mounted spare tire, pardon me. It leaves the rear bumper open for bike racks, and for load equalization, it improves ride and handling because weight in front of the axle tows better than weight behind. The underbelly of these all will be enclosed and forced air heated. Liberty Edition, absolutely. In the non-Liberty Edition, there's only 1 or 2 models that are not heated. They will all be enclosed, however. The slide walls, they've done a couple different things here, some easy to miss detail-oriented things. If we get really close to it and the camera focuses, you can see a really rough textured skin slide wall. And that goes in conjunction with the T-shaped wiper seal. It's actually got these extra little lips that stick out to help grab that slide wall to get better wiper function. Now, all of our windows are going to be UV tinted. Any window you see will open for ventilation. The tint keeps the sun down and it keeps the privacy up. And remember, an optional piece of equipment we are typically adding to our Liberty Edition upgraded Freedom Expresses is their Radiant Barrier package, which again adds that heat reflective layering in the rear wall, nose, and roof. Now, between these two slides right here, you've got your kind of centralized sort of hookup center, black tank flush, separate cable and satellite hookups, but a neat little camping hack for you guys. Get one of those twist open shower lock rods. You can put like a little curtain right here and have yourself a little built-in cowboy shower in this thing. Very good for getting the grandkids or even getting yourselves rinsed off if you've been by the lake, by the beach, got sand on you. Get that stuff off of you. Let me get back here real quick. We are ready. Furrion pre-prep backup camera mount right there. So if you're looking for rear view only or in-motion observation cameras, we'll have both of those available for you here at Haylett RV. The rear ladder that we're looking at is another optional piece of equipment. That's something that we put on all of our Freedom Expresses now to give you easy access to your full walkable roofing that we're going to go look at in just a minute. But there's a lot to talk about yet over here. How about this? How about their oversized, like full-size outside kitchenette? This goes under that big kid bunk that I mentioned. Now, a really smart thing they did, if you notice, they lowered the height of that refrigerator. They actually had to redesign their outside kitchen to accomplish that so that the kids could get to the drinks easier. Between the 8 cubic foot fridge inside and this thing, you've got like 10 or 11 cubic feet of total cold storage capacity. Now, if you want to, you can slap another flat screen or something out here and have some indoor-outdoor entertainment action going on. And I had to look at it. What's kind of funny, this spice rack right here, if you notice, it's literally just one of the valances that would go over a window inside. They just flipped it upside down and took the little insert out of it. But that's cool because it gives it, like, the first time I looked at it, I'm like, man, that looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. If you flip it upside down, it goes over the window. Now, you do have a real backsplash back here and that power outlet right there giving you a perfect little space for like a little margarita center maybe. A real sink with a real drain into a holding tank. Another utensil drawer with another removable insert here. And a high output Coleman camp grill, compared to a common one of those black RVQ grills. That it's not even like, you see how that little flutter on that little bubble wrap right there is just kind of making it flutter a little bit. A normal RVQ grill would have trouble staying ignited even in a little breeze like that. But this is a high output grill that feeds on portable little propane tank bottles that you can get at like any camp store, Walmart, our store, anything like that. And you can take it anywhere. So if you want to put on that floating picnic table, you want to take it to your buddy's place, you can do whatever you want. Direct entry bathroom door with those aluminum plank steps for a little more stability. Remember again, porcelain foot flush, and we do, again, have a deadbolt for privacy here. Now, a lot of Freedom Expresses will have a drawer on the side like this, but that's actually where most models, the Coleman camp grill, will be located. Because this one has a full outside kitchen, they didn't need to do that. So what they did instead, this is kind of like roughly under the refrigerator or under the countertop or something like that, in an area that would be otherwise wasted inside. So they open it up outside. Very handy for like your bug sprays and your grill lighters and, you know, stuff like that. Now the wide stance stability axle system right here, the spread axle design that they use, that is fantastic because this RV is, well, it's probably almost 37 feet long from tongue to bumper. So that means that, you know, like you're looking at it, you're like, oh, this thing's light enough. My half-ton could handle it just fine. But a long trailer like this will give a shorter wheelbase vehicle with a little softer suspension some trouble. Well, that's part of where the wide stance axle system comes in conjunction with proper weight distribution and anti-sway. Properly equipped heavier half-tons will handle this thing just fine. And what am I missing? Oh, yeah, the awning. And a quick peek with the awning out before we hop upstairs and trounce all over your, you know, your new Coachman's roof. One thing I do like to point out here is the fact that they do make this camper and this overhead door here tall enough that even a tall drink of water with a goofy, you know, sort of face arrangement like me can get under here. But that's another story for another day, as Winnie the Pooh would say, or at least the narrator for. And we've got a big power awning over here with twist and lock arms. There is full-length LED lighting at the base of it. Just simply haven't ignited those quite yet. So you've got pretty much maximum awning coverage here. The only little spot you're going to have a little gap is that second entry door right there. But that's just kind of a quick in, quick out place to get to either the bathroom or the outside kitchen. So they give you about as much capacity as they really could out of that awning. And it kind of looks like it's got a wing, like it's about ready to take off when you have this thing open. Now in years past, Freedom Express has actually had a tan skin roof. And they also had a tan skin nose. What they found out is that they were just sweating people to death out of their campers. That extra tan skin was generating so much extra heat because the nose and the roof are the two highest volume sun exposure areas. So by turning those to white, they knock down the amount of heat the camper generates inside significantly. And then add on top of that the heat reflection package that we add to these and the bigger air conditioner. And this thing should be pretty much good to go just about anywhere. One other little update I wanted to point out up here is the new Winegard antenna system right here. It's a 360 antenna. You don't have to crank it. You don't have to turn it. You get to your destination, you scan channels once, and you're done. One and done. Because you're camping, man. It's supposed to be recreational vehicles. It's not supposed to be, you know, struggle. And it's not supposed to be turn and scan and turn and scan and turn and scan. But the little details like that, walking around on the roof of a camper here for you, like there's another Freedom Express I have to get to yet. That's the extra stuff we do for you at Haylett RV. Howdy, Brian. So whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, whether you need to talk to Mr. Brian down here, trades financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between, we do it all for you at Haylett RV. So take care. Well, no, we don't. We don't do hidden dealer fees. That we don't do. We avoid those for you at Haylett RV. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.